Well, here we have it, guys, the 200 amp hour Lithium Kings battery. So as you can see inside, we've got a 12-month limited warranty. We've got the studs as well, battery studs, so I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to get stuck straight into charging this. So one other thing to note is that its max discharge continuous is 200 amps. Now on the website I do believe it does say 150, so they may have made a better BMS in these, I'm not too sure. And the ones on the website don't have a blue top, so I actually like the look of that. I'm undecided as to what I'll be doing with this one. I was possibly going to put it in the system that's running this entire garage. That's in another video at the moment. Still 23.4 kilos, that's not too bad. It's definitely still better than a big heavy AGM battery, and the size I thought would be a bit smaller because my 200 amp hour battery that I've built is about that big, but they obviously use different cells in this one. So for those of you who are new to the channel, this is one of the videos I'm working on at the moment. This whole trailer, I haven't built the frame for the solar panels yet, but it is powering my garage out the front. So currently that inverter has been running for 7 days straight now, and the batteries are at 58%, which isn't too bad. This is the battery pack that I'll be adding to more than likely with that 200 amp hour. Now I may have to rearrange these batteries that I've built, try and figure out a way to fit that 200 amp hour one in here too. I don't think it'll be too difficult, to be honest. But yeah, this is the system that I'm considering adding to, because the wife was using the dryer. She used it 4 times in the garage, and by the time I got to the 4th run, it was, the battery bank was down to 17%. So I ended up using this lithium charger here. We've got this inlet for it, and I ran an extension lead to my camper trailer. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I have this camper trailer. It's got 690 amp hours of lithium in it and 320 watts of solar on the roof. So this here, I'm still yet to learn how to use a welder, and I've got to figure out how to weld up a frame on top of this trailer to power the garage, and that's going to be in a following video. So we're currently charging off that battery bank out the back in the trailer. We've got a Renogy charger and we're charging at 21 amps by the looks of that. So I just heard the inverter kick on, using 18 amps minus whatever's getting put in with solar at the moment. It's a lot less than I expected because it's running the computer and everything else in the garage at the moment as well. That's not too bad. Well, there you have it. Their website is only showing 150 amps max continuous discharge, so I was right. So those of you who are new to the channel, I am a window tinter and I work from home. Just finished doing this BT50. Now, main reason that I have opted to run the whole garage from solar power is because these lights use a lot of power, that heat gun uses a lot of power, and also this steamer, 2180 watts of power. I've also got the computer running off of it as well, and that dryer and that freezer. Now I do know that that does apply for when you do hook lithium batteries up in series. Now I know Battleborn are capable of this. I'm not too sure what other lithium batteries are capable of doing it in series. I haven't seen anything on the Kings batteries being able to run in series and run a 48 volt inverter. That would be much more efficient for the job I'm doing here, but for now I'm just keeping everything at 12 volts and going to have massive lithium battery capacity basically, and quite a lot of solar generation. It's the afternoon now. It's still been charging for it'd have to be 4 hours now at least, so it's taken quite a bit. But while this is charging, we may as well have a look at the other charging systems I have in place. So as we spoke about before, that 200 amp hour lithium might end up in that trailer. I'm not too sure yet, but for now what I'm doing is, because I know I'm going for a drive in the patrol tomorrow, a long drive, I know that the lithium batteries in there, I've got 235 amp hours in there, will be getting charged by the car, and they're already at 100%. So what I'm using is the inverter in the patrol to charge the inverter in here in the camper to make up for what I lost in power from using this camper to charge that system up after the dryer had drained that system down quite a bit. So it's there's 3 systems in place. We've got this 3000 watt Renogy inverter. This is a lithium battery that I've built myself in a 200 amp hour case. It's actually got 280 amp hours. They're Eve cells in there. I've got another 100 amp hour lithium battery in there. We've got 3000 watts Renogy here, but it's also a 75 amp charger. So when these are running low, I can just hook up the power straight to this, and we've got the extension lead running straight out of the inverter from the patrol. So we're drawing 132 amps right now, which is pushing 75 amps in. I know it's not very efficient. It's pushing 75 amps into the camper right now. So I'll let this run down quite a bit, and because I'm going for a big drive tomorrow, it's not going to phase it. It'll charge itself back up. Sorry about the dryer noise, guys. Mrs. loves using that. Alright, so we've got my purely resistive load here. Got the shunt. We've got this other old Dunga battery just powering the shunt. That's all its job is to do. 26.4 amps. That should chew quite a bit of juice, and hopefully it's not still going in the morning. That would be nice. So we're at 500 milliamp hours already, so just chewing through it. Oh, there we have it, 224 amp hours. Now we're always going to get a pretty high amp hour after the first discharge test, so I might do another one after this and then abuse it with an inverter. That's actually really good. Way better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, we're all set up again, ready to do this test. Let's get it done, I reckon. Same as before. 26-ish amps. Beauty. 203 amp hours so far, still at 12.3 volts. That's actually pretty conclusive, guys. I definitely think it's well worth the buy, and we'll check what this BMS is capable of tomorrow once it's charged back up again later. I'll see what it gets to tonight, but at least we know the capacity is definitely well above what it should be, which is good. It doesn't get any more consistent than that. Alright, charge it up tonight, and yeah, that's really good results, to be honest. Alright, I hope you can follow along with what's going to happen here. So I had to disconnect that switch, obviously, because that was cooked. It didn't like 12 volts at 300 amps. So I've put a bypass wire in here, this big red one, and I'm going to disconnect the inverter from this system. This inverter will be running through that 175 amp Anderson plug, and then running to this cable that I've made up. So this itself will be an isolated circuit, this inverter and this battery. Now whatever loads I run off this inverter, which I am actually thinking I might get this battery to charge through this from the inverter, charge back up this bank, and I might even get it to charge the bank up on the camper trailer. We'll see if it can handle 75 amps coming out, we'll see. But I actually got quite a lot of faith in this thing after seeing the capacity tests. Seems that Kings has definitely got decent lithium batteries. Let's go. Alrighty, so main inverter positive is off. Now I can connect this one up. Alrighty, let's see if that turns on. Beautiful. Good connection. Okie dokie, I'm going to get my clamp meter. We'll start running some tests. Standby power, 1 amp by the looks of that. Got everything else disconnected, so what I'm going to run, I'm thinking that charger first and charge up the other battery bank. Yep, straight up 51 amps, just as I expected. I'm going to grab another extension lead and see if we can pull a bit more out of this than it should. Like I said, I was going to abuse the battery, so I disconnected this charger. I've now got the Renogy. Wow, that's ramping up fast. So we've got 114 amps, which charges the batteries in the camper at 75 amps. I'll show you that. That's the Renogy running. We're getting 81 amps into this system in the camper, so that's including solar as well. Alright, we'll add another 50 to that and we'll turn this on. What's going on here? Yep, it's doing it. Low voltage. Not good. So running the Renogy charger, no worries, we're at 118 amps. But it didn't like when I turned the other charger on. And this is supposed to have 200 amp max continuous. I don't think it does, to be honest. We'll see what I can do to try and ramp that ampage on slowly and be nice to it. I might grab the heat gun and slowly wind it up. Alright, from memory these were about 17 amps. I've just hooked them up. I've disconnected the dryer and run that on 240 from the house. We're just going to run these lights, the printer and the computer. I reckon that should get us around 20 amps. Not quite. We're at 12 amps. We'll see. We'll turn this heat gun on. Sorry about the noise. Well, it is doing it. And the inverter seems okay with that. So it must be that massive inrush current that it wasn't happy with, running 2 separate chargers. Let's set it run at 196 amps for a while. Voltage is quite steady at 12.4, about what I'd expect. It's not bad. I'm trying to feel around for any heat to see if I can feel the BMS getting warm, but can't feel any heat anywhere. It's a good sign, but yeah, I run on 196 amps still. It's not bad. I'm gonna let it run for a while. I'll give it 10-15 minutes. As you can hear, the inverter fans have kicked on too. No issues. Going on 10 minutes now. I'm gonna try 15. Well, there we have it. Those fans haven't turned off, but 15 minutes at 196 amps. I want to go over the 200 amp threshold while it's still warm. I'm going to leave this running and I'll grab a heater. I'll disconnect the garage power, which is this one. I'll disconnect that and then hook up the heater there and see how much it can handle with the heater as well. I'll turn the heat gun down and try and level them out and slowly ramp the amps up, hey? Turn this down a little bit. At 100 amps. About 100. Turn this on. So we're at half power. Oh yeah. I'll ramp the heat gun up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's more like it. Oh, that's getting up there. 240, 250, 247. Let's see how long it can last. Getting a slight bit of heat right about here somewhere. Not too much. Been running for about 6 minutes now. 240. Not bad. Terminals still touch. No worries. Anderson plug's probably the only weak point. They're fine. They're fine. No worries at all. I just feel a slight bit of warmth on top of the battery. I'll keep going for a bit. So hopefully you can follow along, but what I've done is hooked up that charger and this other 20 amp Renogy charger, and they're both powering these batteries here, recharging them, along with that MPPT as well. And we're charging it around roughly 74 amps right now into that battery bank, and most of it's coming from this obviously through the inverter. Then the inverter powers that battery charger and this battery charger as well. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with how the system's turned out. This is going to be a great addition to the system. Yeah, can't wait, to be honest. It's actually going to be really good. I'm really impressed with this King's battery. All in all, I definitely think now that they've got this new version, it's well and truly worth it. It's definitely, well, it did 250 amps for what, 15 minutes, nearly 20 minutes to be honest, and I didn't really have any overheating problems whatsoever. Nothing got hot. So yeah, it's a safe buy, guys, and on special $789. You really can't go wrong. It's just the space, so I'd probably go for the 300 amp hour one, just simply because it can push out more capacity supposedly, and I'm going to do a following test on the 300 amp hour one soon. But yeah, if you want more bang for your buck, go to the 300 amp hour, I think, just because they use the same footprint. Alright, thanks for watching.